In today's gospel, Jesus cures a leper. And the one detail there that's so important is that he touched him. And that's important because in Jesus' time, a leper couldn't approach somebody else. Closest they could get was 10 feet, and they had to, yell out, "Unclean, unclean." Very embarrassing. Not only they're unclean physically, but considered unclean spiritually as well. But Jesus breaks those barriers. And anybody that touched somebody that had leprosy was treated as though they had leprosy as well. And so Jesus touches him, and he does it out of compassion. He does it because he loves him, and Jesus heals him and cures him. And it's the same is true with us. In all our messiness and all our sinfulness, Jesus comes to us and touches us. He does it to free us from our sin and cleanse us from the evil that we might have been in. And through confession and through the sacraments, he touches us because he loves us. And this gospel passage also encourages us to do the same. Who are the outcasts in our society that people stay away from? And can we be Jesus in society and help them with compassion and love like Jesus did? Now I want to look at that first reading. There's a lot going on in that Joe just finished reading. It's about 1,050 years before Christ, and there's this battle going on in a place called Ebenezer. It's like 30 miles northwest of Jerusalem, and the Israelites are fighting the Philistines, and they're a fierce army, and they come out of battle this first encounter with them, and they lose 4,000 men. They lose the day. And so the elders get together and say, "What the heck is going on?" He says, "Oh, we don't have the Ark of the Covenant. It's like a trinket. Go get it so we'll have the glory of God on the Ark of the Covenant with us on the cherubim." So like the Ark of the Covenant, above the Ark of the Covenant was the throne of God, the throne of mercy where God was. And if you had the Ark of the Covenant with you, you surely would win the battle. So they go to place called Shiloh, so like 30 miles east of this Ebenezer where they're having the battle, and they get the ark and they bring it back, and they convene, and then they go and attack the Philistines again, and it's a disaster. They lose 30,000 men. The rest of the guys are scattered all over the place, and they lose the Ark of the Covenant. The Philistines take the Ark of the Covenant. When then two of the prophet Eli's sons, Hophni and Phinehas, they're killed in the battle. And when the news of that gets back to Eli, who is the prophet, and he's 98 years old, when he hears about it, he falls, especially the Ark of the Covenant was lost, he falls backwards in his chair, breaks his neck, and dies. And then one of his sons who died, Phinehas, his wife, was pregnant. When she gets word, she goes into labor, and she has a son and dies. But before she dies, she names her son Ichabod. And Ichabod means, where is your glory? Like, where is your glory, God? In other words, it's referring back to the Ark of the Covenant being with the Israelites in battle, and they lost. So where is your glory, God? But reflecting back, the Israelites were dishonoring God. They weren't following the commandments. The two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, they were scoundrels, and they were greedy, and they were known for cursing God. And it was even worse, Eli, their dad, didn't correct them. And so it's a really tough lesson for Israel not to have false trust in God. Simply put, you can't act like a pagan and do anything you want. And when you're in serious trouble, then, I should call on God, and then call on God, expect him to save you. It doesn't work like that. And so we have to always be faithful to God, always strive to obey God's commandments. And we have to remember, too, that God always brings good out of every situation. And God chastises those he loves. And he certainly loved the Israelites. They were his chosen people in the plan of salvation and God's plan of growth. Eventually goes from the Israelites to everybody in the whole world. Okay? And the incident, so good comes out of this. Israel decides they need a king. And so first it's Saul, and then it's King David. And King David defeats the Philistines. And he recovers the ark and brings the ark back to Israel. And so I guess it's a exciting and really cool story, but the big upshot of that is that we always have to be faithful. We always have to trust in God and not use sacramentals or special things like trinkets. If we have this, we'll win. It's our faith and love and relationship with God that's important.